Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes is a unique specimen. It is the prologue to the full MGS5 game put onto its own disc for $30 or $20 digital for the PlayStations and the Xboxes. Now, I've never played any of the other MGS games to completion. I've played, a good 5 or 6 hours of pretty much each game besides MGS4, but I never completed a game on its own. But after many gameplay snippets and previews I've seen for MGS5, I was actually very excited to play it. So, we finally got a little bit of that game, the first hour and a half of it. What did I think of Ground Zeroes? Well, let's talk about it. The story for Ground Zeroes is very, very light, considering it's only a prologue for a full 30, 40, maybe 50 hour game. You follow, of course, Big Boss Solid Snake, played by Kiefer Sutherland, who has to rescue two operatives, Paz and Chico, who were both captured by the enemy. And of course that means Snake has to go and sneak around, knock people out, shoot people, whatever he has to do to save the two operatives that were captured. While there's not much of a story here, considering it's just a prologue to the full MGS5, which is coming out hopefully soon, I still really enjoyed the story. I really liked where it was going. I really liked how it ended. I really love Kiefer Sutherland as Big Boss in this game. That might just be because I'm a huge Kiefer Sutherland fan. I'm not sure, but hey, I love that guy, and I think he is perfect in the role. He might not be as good as David Hayter, but he's still a great addition to the cast. So yeah, the story, while there's not too much of it there, it's still a really good prologue, or even a prequel to the full game, and I'm really excited to see where the story is going to go from there. But of course, the reason why this exists in the first place is to give you a little snippet, a little bit of that gameplay that you're thirsting for in MGS5. And I gotta say, I'm actually very impressed. At first, I really wasn't, because I was playing it, they kind of throw you in there, they don't tell you what to do. They start telling you a little bit more later on in the game, but they don't tell you what to do at first, so I was very confused. I didn't even know what buttons to press to crouch and whatever. I didn't know what to do, and I was getting killed, I was getting very annoyed, I wasn't having a good time, I didn't think the controls were that great. And then, of course, I got more into it, and then I, of course, got used to the controls. I got used to sneaking around, shooting enemies when I had to. It was actually starting to become more entertaining, and I knew the layout of the world a little bit more, so I knew where to go. I think playing it over and over again and figuring out all the little secrets and different ways to complete your mission is essential in this game, because again, it's very short. Even when I was having a hard time figuring out what to do, it still only took me an hour and a half to beat the game, which is definitely not worth $30. Luckily, you get a lot of side content in this game. You get a few side missions, which are, pretty fun for the most part and highly replayable. And the main mission is replayable. Now, the thing is, when you play it again, most likely it will be even shorter than an hour and a half, because you already know what to do, you know where to go, and it's probably easier seeing that you know the layout more. But still, it's a very entertaining time. The gameplay is a lot of fun. The shooting mechanics are definitely better than any Metal Gear Solid game I've ever played. I think the sneaking mechanics, even though the controls at times are a little confusing, but once you get used to the controls, which you definitely will if you play the game longer than an hour like me, and you actually start watching the enemy AI and seeing what they're doing, watching their patterns, then you actually start to really like it, especially as a stealth game, besides just going and running and gunning, which I'm telling you right now does not work for this game, because if you run and gun, you're not going to complete the game at all. Oh, and also, the game is gorgeous. It is beautiful. The character models, the rain effects, the environments themselves, the lighting, beautiful. It looks like a next-gen game, and I cannot wait until MGS5 Phantom Pain so we could see way more of this beautiful-looking engine. So, let's go on to the positives and the negatives. The positives. The game is graphically gorgeous. Mwah, beautiful. The gameplay is a hell of a good time. The story is very light, but very interesting at the same time. And, of course, Kiefer! The negatives. For $30 or even $20 downloadable, it's very light on content. Sure, it's highly replayable, but it should have had more content. And it kind of throws you in there, so it takes a little bit of time to get used to the controls. Unless you're a big MGS fan, then it most likely won't. So there you go, there's my review for MGS5 Ground Zeroes. Sure, it's a little light on content, but I still really enjoyed the time I had with it. So there you go, there's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.